That's why I didn't hear loud enough. She's loud enough.
Yeah, closed.
No, the casket will stay closed.
Yeah.
Once it's closed,
It's around 11:20.
yeah.
Yeah, about 11, I'll text you.
Okay, cool. All right, thanks, Jim.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Hey, I gotta ask you, you want a breakfast for it?
Oh, I'm okay. I just
Sure?
had a croissant today.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'll text you as soon as the thing's over.
okay. And do you know who the other pallbearers are?
I think they're behind there. Yeah, how many you have?
We gave 3 sets of gloves out to the gentleman who helped us move.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So there are 3. Yeah.
Yeah, here's
If you need more gloves, we have
all
more.
right, thank you.
Okay, so we'll be around if you
Yeah,
want.
you know what, the bathroom over there, there's one out there.
Great, thanks.
That's the most important part for you to come in and know.
Yeah.
Besides the exit, right? Bathroom and then exit.
Okay, so we'll find some way to park them.
Yeah, I'll take it. I thought it was parking there, but that's the reason.
Yeah, don't forget your back there. So we still get
Oh, tau whalaka pe wahiwa. Maorei kainga, whamiri mo kainga o whena. Mausi, pamore ke mo taimi ke tau mo mea mai. He pombongin. I reo ke he whahike kato mau si whae. O whena koini nai. Whahike a teu ka koini kone aho weni. I whae ano whakalangi. Whatapuat pe ki he tau tamai he wani. Nea ngao. Alu i rato he aho koini. Ka maa peo no mai ngai tāpuaki. Ki tau lava inas whalau maari mo whatua sino ai. Whatapuat pen ki he piso pe mo kau haa Takelo. Mo mea mai he pombongin. Kau ngā whaatahu mau tolu. Whatapuat ki he Panau hoi mo tolu toa pe. O kau ngā hau ke mo ngai popoa ki ofa mai si whae. O whaina koe ni. Kai hoko sia ke kamata ta pokalama. Teu koe tangata whai hiwa o ki Malo ku mane ki aloa ne po hiwa wheitu. O ki ongo o ki ongo sia reo. Kai neongo ia tau kore pen ia whireti le ki vai nuk. Ki hao whakawai tau kokalama, o whamiri, ia tau hokoa, Malo.
Mata mai o ki he man madoran whanau ma whatata mai e wan. Wai mau whaike heka e kui whae tu whiwhine ko si hiki atu me maman. Ta mai mau whamalo ko hinga ko whainga maalia ni mai malawa whio ia mai tokotahani. Mau whamalo ko hinga ko si kainga ko nau si mea mai me ngai whitu ke. Koe moha o e ahoni ke whakaike heka mai tokotahani. Ma kore koe tamai ke tuk maha lau maari e mau whakatahan. Ke mau lawa whanonga ke ngahi ngāwe me ngahi. Ngāwe le reina whahe tokatahan me ngahi whanau mo ngahi maheni. Ma kore koe tapuaki e tau pe pehe whoki mo toina whanau. Niau mai pūri e whae koe ni. Ka koe ni lau maari o kukei mo ui hoko atu pēne ngāwe. Ta mai mau kore whamarumore pao kia ngai tō no pao ngai whialaki ma mo iwi e whamarumore ma tō. Koe ai kore mo hu mau whai e wafa o alako sisu kolai se men.
Malo Fred, lo whafof. Mo e whahoka tu e whakawa tau pokalama. Ka hiri pe koe ni tau kilalo. Ko whawhene whanau koea. A tomiri. Olola. Malo e nau si whamore ki nau taimi ki nau hao. Whahoka maa hiwa. Tau pe ngā o puka kau tama kini nau kore pe ka tomiri. I Oktoba. Ki ato ki deposit ko ni ka ke hao na hiva a aho ko peha ko fai aho ta ko wawe ko hao ye ko hiva hi ke fine ki ko au mai pe ki deposit ni e fa ko fa malo la he ni ka ki he manager ko ai fa na ko ni a sini mo moturi ki pe mo piso pe mo tuanga mai ka mari ko ni ke fala langi no to ko ni si programa ko ni ko ta ha ko ni ke tau hao ke tau fia tai lai ta ha ne ha pe ko tangi mo ha e ka mata pe he ni nei e pe na to e tama ka poi ko ni ke hao pe mo ne ta pu pe varin ke ka mai pe mo ne ho si mi sorry to mai ya ba ko ni wa mai ka poi pa nei ka mata pe mau o hiva fia pe ni afala be si fa e ko ni pe ko e ko nga pe ai o programa tau mari mo fia e nai pe be fini ki pe o si ko e ai hiva ko ni ai fa na ko atomili mo lola tau ko re ka nonia ke ko e historia ko e eulogy ai si fini ai si fa malo tauki ala ke miai to fok manunia mau ta mai ka mea ka mau ingai eu tau la teo palanis le de tam no sai tau kore beni a ai fa fo ai hispani fi la Siulolovao ai mau ta tai dia folau tau ke ya Alusa o fa ve bena a Sioana make Alusa Junior, porque mau tu mo Sioane, o lahi kui amoala, kai hokoe la nafetala Alusa, o fia beni mawe, tot honga moni ki a Sioane ke hafa fongaia a folau Alusa, malo Sioane, ada.
family. Whakamalo ki motoru e whaki mai taimi ko e niki o lawa whaiha manatu meria a Siulolovao Alusa. Ko ingo ako Sioana Alusa. Tamasiki ako a ka penimo se le tute Alusa. Oko usiaki ako a Sioana lahi. Ko uingane eke a e tamai o eke a moara ke whai ki lea. Moko ko Sioana lahi ia, ko tamasiki lahi ia e whanau a nafe mo salo te Alusa. Ka koe ni teo eke whakamore mole ka taki teo lea whakapārangi. Moko kike whimao mo toro ki sio mai o pehe ko hae siana koe niu lea whakaspenisi mo e ko hae whiainga lea. Koe winga pe teo whia lea whakapārangi mo ilo e koe hae lea. I just said in my broken tongue that I ask you, family, for your forgiveness. That I'm going to speak English because because I wouldn't do any justice if I tried to do it in tongue to Auntie Siulolovao. Honestly, I don't have very many memories of Auntie Siulolovao. I could probably count on one hand the conversations that I might have had with her. And for me, that's my bad. That's something that I'll take for granted because I should have taken more time to talk to her and get to know her and to see how she was able to put up with Uncle Vava'u all these years. But the one thing that I know for a fact that I can tell you how he has impressed me, how Siulolovao has impressed me, is that when I was younger, I remember Skyline would bring me to talk with Vava'u whenever they would be either at my Uncle Samuela's house or Mapa Renata Vainuku's home. Every time we would go to see Vava'u and Siulolovao, I always would remember Siulolovao always being there at home. It'd be very rare that she wouldn't be there. And to me, that has left a big impression. She was a perfect homemaker. She was a beautiful stay-at-home mother and wife. And I believe that what she done for her family was truly important. The way she would cook and clean and hold Vava'u down and take care of the kids, whether it was her own kids or other people's children, even down to her grandkids. I kind of feel like this goes unnoticed sometimes, underappreciated. And that's one thing that I always remember about Siulolovao, that no matter what's going on, if you came home, she would always be there to support and to care for you and make sure that you're good. In a lot of ways, Siulolovao reminds me of my grandma Salote. She never got out, she never was out there or went to any functions, but she was always at home, always there, so that no matter what's going on in your life, whenever you came home, you could always count on her to be there, to ask you if you needed something to eat, or how you're feeling, clean your clothes, make food for you. These things was just, we take for granted, but they mean a lot. And I believe that Auntie Siulolovao was this. This is what made her special for me. This is the impression that I always get when I think about her. Now as I'm older and I'm married, I have 5 children, I'm still reminded how important this is. Because my wife, Lota, she does the same for me. She's always at home, watching the kids, making sure I'm doing good and I'm on the right path, taking care of us, cooking, cleaning. And I realize now more than ever, these women like this, are so important, so critical to our families. And this is the legacy I believe Auntie Siulolovao had on our family. Just want to tell you, Auntie Siulolovao, I love you. I'm going to miss you. And the other side is so excited that you'll be able to be there with them to help them. Just want to bear with you a testimony that I know this church is true. And I know that in the end we will see her again. We appreciate and celebrate her for what she has done for us individually and as a family. This I leave with you in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Historia no pe to alu we ya fa edu ma to ngai ta e man ma fa ta ko ko ke fa ha ka pe a ko i wa ko no ni ara hu ko fi e ki ko ta re na te ina siulo na fa na o Sioana Siulolovao Takelo ha sia e a ta fa ta ma a si ta he fa wa i fa to ha pai ko ne tanga ta ki ko man ha bai la Takelo ko ne fi e ki ko ne ni ta me ha sia ai tu Siulolovao fa na o to ta fa ko ro ki fa na o to ki tu ko ka wa ia ko na fa ko ne la hi ko si ne mu a te lai te o fa la mi e ha si bai la tu para skaho ko Leonita o ki New Zealand e emosione ha pe kui manuha i hana ta fa ni marolo e ni tanga taiki na ni fai ni le ni fina iki tu ni ke ne te ma ma ho fa o ki sione e ufoni lami ne ma fa na e to fitu na fa ko me lai ta ko me le ana lagi ma malanga e ni asi ta malangi te vita o no alangi te ho ko ai o mahanga lei ko feleti asta alangi mo fina iki ko la sane asili e hakoia I no ke tu hakolani paka sisita ha ko kasanita na marolo kisi ia na ta tolu ni pai tai soi lo e ta hema ni menima ia ne ta mai ko no sione u foni na ne ta kai fala ki ta ho ko tangata ko fola ta ke Alusa ni lo na Vava'u mo mata ha ko mata ia fito ka to pa ta hema no I ti sama ato ta hiwa no maru lo tonga ne mahina hiwa ko te teo ke whanau ia whoha. Nana whanonga atoa I mwana whala hio lo tonga tauta. O mau entameni mo sila I pa whamiri ke mo weni pia mo itaniti I te bari Hamilton I stewe. Ne toro ia I na whoke ki tonga ka weni whanau I mahti e te he na tonga I New Zealand. Ko ti sema a whata e wa fitu toru na ni hit whanua mai ai wana whamiri ke whanua te tarawa. Moi whanau e toko wha. Ko moala Isaiah, hini ne trin, mea karama, Pelela Alusa whina. Ia o sea tau ia mawhuru me ai, ia whanau ima te resia. Ne tari leki na toro te vita mapa mai nuku, mole na te halusia. Ano na whataha I sen Mateo. Nā ka whakau I han whakatu, o hako koe me mi whaha fufu a woti. Ia whakatonga nei oi koe Peninsula First School I Costa City. Me ka hewa whiti toru ne hoka tu ke pe ki anu whatongia koe whahe. Ne whanau, tau I api mo hoka me tau I whanau pe koe babysit. Ia toko hai koe whanau I whamiri. O ka wai na whanga mawhakuna I wha. Korosili Alusa ki o, kampe I pinau. Siulolovao, ai api kulami. Ia mo sinai. E toki ngata I nau e whake si pao ki taia e wāwhi o furu. Nai manako ai whae ni ki he niti whangakita ka sika awhi mo niti kafu. Nā ne ilo a whoke ngāhi e loro whai takai, tāpai, whaparu mua me a mea te he. Hana te whitoi o ngāngā, koe ofa, koe te onga whakata, mo loto ke whakaori mape. Nea ngana I tai ke te whakauri, e tene ngā paanga, nā ne lawa na pē o whakakato. Ano tū whakanga ka o whiwhine, mo ua whae, mo I pui le reitaha ki whamiri. Si mo I whanua. Nā ne ofa mai ngai fan hau pe ngai ui ia ko sai ako ki ka sta medi ngai ko ia ko fa ki fi ama pe ki te ni he foki ka fatoria ko supervisor ko ama pe fine area ki ni fa ia ngai ta ki ui me anga nai i kai to ia na no aka kana ne fa ka ambe ki ko ko ate ne sa va aki ne ta telefoni ki no ngai fa di ngai ka nga ma ni ba me mi ba boti ko ta ro mai Siulolovao, Vava'u, Mari, Mateo, Takelo, Mateo, Sioana, Crematory. Sahabat ekonomi, sana tahu. Orang yang orang tahu ya, kalau lagi foto ini banyak fluid, kalau lagi kita nggak tahu apa lagi.
Malo Aupito dunia kama Sioana Alusa mo hafa ko kwa kula kita programa Sioana sai pe hore ako ko motokilo ni ma ko andiwa fo ma to be ko ya pa geli hakuna ko diwa le ta to fa niwa pe ni mo pe he pe kai ko ta wa de ta to miro pe ki mo fa mata le ko ko ta ko ma niwa fo atau hanga to mai ta ko ndio ko ta to ia kita wa ko na amana eta mai ko kere Takelo ako ni te o kuia to ai fa kuan ka mai ai ni ko to mai to o pa si o fa na ko ia to mo na kina ma fo mai ia ta mo si fai na no fo fani pe ia pai ona hiki mai to ngata ki mata ha o to e mau fo no ala he no to ia tene pe he tau kore meni e sisi taha me ta vo taha ya Skyline e via mai he hoko pe ia no ha pe poni sa taha mo ui ka para ni ko VIP se via ba ko sia quando não vai levar na fica first class não tô tão muito he ka ko ka tu vai first class ni o ta o fa fea o a sta que o ho ko de ta ko la ma do que ta ha mo ni ko ta ha fi ha ne ta ha lo la que ta ha ni que ka no ko to i ho le ka ta ki pe to fa e yo ki ui no ia que mo ko ya fa spendre fine ki Fata pena dia ke how VIP bona ki first class
family kamai kai ga ku fia ki ke heni ta fia ke ta fa le fa ma va fa o si ki tu e fine kamai fa kamai ku. For those of you and kids, my youth, let me introduce myself. I'm one of your brothers. We are a big family, and I'm the second from the bottom. Ogo mahua pe ako no fui Texas. Ako hetai fo ko kai ke fa lava ki usio ki bo. Mahalo ke ha pe an motua. ku ngalo me ka to ke la me wa sio le ki mo e ma to pa ke ko e ma to lo ke ma fa me to la fa na ma fa e ma to ta fa wa ko fika to fa muy muy ana ki ma ki mai me ha pa ki to ma talange mata mai ki ma fa e ta wo ki ko lo wa te hina i ma con che ki ta no fa talange ma fa e ta wo ki mata ha wa te hina o ki ai wi hono ke pa wi ma ta hine ai ko bi ki a ma ki mai ki mata ha Patal be mautumu au whanongo. E ko hau ka pikia e hau ka peia ko e whika o ka te kumato. Wa piki timing mau hiki mai ki heni. Ne ki tā pio ka kai kumato. Kana whika ka au. E ngā ko me megi puna whakamahina mi ki heni o ka kai mau whae ni nata. Mo ka kai Siulolovao. Kapag kayo lang may na ko ni kakupa ba kayo tao may makain na to. Eh tayo ko Hawaii ko may fakato ka nga eh. Kwa ko may ke mana tu ihe be kia ka mo re na. Hao to ko ga ta me so le ki fear fa ka no be ko masi ko eh. Kaya siya may kao ni tamay hiyo. Ko asta be ko lo ele ko be fa ba kaya. Ya ne mo ku CCE. Ako saya nge ako be la family. Fa me la family sorry ko al family Hawaii ko al. Ko al be fa ke me la family. Ko ko kata la lahi. Nahana to te kia, pakano hinga ka ko mahenya iau mo family ko al ka ko na nyawa usi alwa to ko tamaki ka ko asa to asi hanga be ko astu mari ya e ko e nyawa tamila ko fa tamai ki to vifine ko ni e ke mai kage ya timing ko tama na bebe kia ka kilawa le hangi ko tama le ngi fa nau ka be kia tan ko do be tama ma to fin ko ni ka ka ma do ko ni fa pasi ek ka to mai fa ek mai fa nau ka mo fi ke ho ka ki ho ek mamahi ka bongo e fia no ko mai e ta fa ke ta ha o le foka amu ke mau to foki ani ha ko lo e be fia la he mau fa e ke ta ne ria ka to ni ki mau tol ko mau ta kai no i ha o ta fa nga a o mai family ma o fa la ka te ko family ka mai kainga tu ofa malo
dai bau ki sai ya ka pe tai mi maon ki asta ba ko mai area fa fofa wow ang manat pe fa dia masih lolo kai ha asta ia ki fa bia lo sana we ha pe ki mite ni ba fa mai ka ka bia asta fa o pe ai pe dia ki tau ki kan dai ndia mo ia ta ho ba to ko ben ki ho ko ki asirika pa fo mai en dunia ko le dia ka ho ko ia ki di ko ki fa na wa wi amanga asone hawia kui mo ke ke mai ha ana ko to pa fonga o ya fa na kwa e hasi Boy, mo fig mo to mo ari ate, amadu ka pe tai. Mo fa na wa sone mu. Pai lahi, ke ma mo ha. O fa mo, o ba ki ofa mo. A fu mai mo ma. Ya o na ye la mai a fa ko la o fa. Ko mau ko ta live stream e dai ni ka mo ka ba dai mi ba mai Facebook ka. Le kita mungkin lawan tahu lah, bukan di Facebook kan, itu aja kita kata apa ini, malu kata di biar, mau kata apa ini betong ya di live stream, ya mau hari mau mari mau kata masih utang negara apa, utang kan, dah tahu tu fahmi, macam gua mau utang lagi ya, oh kadang kita ngalu pergi fatah pergi fatah pun, kita fahu dengan Katunga sino si matolo masino ala. Oke lama ilo ko kita umai kita. Fata bate Sioana Siulolovao. Fata hingo ape ki mau. Kine kui ai mafai. Ai hoko ia. Ai ko ben kia aslika ko dunia kia ko mai aslika. Na ko mo sino ko mo ko kapane te mo fai mo to yo ko. Ko tu ga mo fa ta mai ga o ke mai ko ta fa. Saya Malo family.
As you can tell, I might be the Pusiaki, so we're just going to show some of the videos from all of her siblings. We're able not to be here.
Italia. Buat pokok itu. Buat kalando, buat beri. Jadi tak boleh nak Sioana Siulolovao. Kita tu buat dia nak tu buat begini. Betul tak? Kita ini kau ada tu Malo Aupito. Jadi mereka dia tidak balai jadi Vava'u itu apa? Vava'u larang. Vava'u berjaga boleh kita rumah. Itu kita dia Vava'u. Jadi dia tidak apa. Ia mau Malo Aupito. Skyline sebab itu juga tidak kerja biaya. Awak dah ada sebab dia apa? Waktu. Awak dah ada itu bapa berkongsi ini kemudian. Kalau orang bertahan dalam ubi aja dia dari mana aja. Kalau tak mungkin orang lain yang itu satu. Mereka ada kita orang masih tak banyak dia. Tentu betul Alusa. Ayah Sioana Siulolovao Alusa. Kemudian kedua ayah Alusa lagi pun Alusa Alusa. Jadi ada satu itu kita lakukan lakukan. Saya bilang. Dan kalau kalau kata baik nak juga ada pun boleh kata baik dan nak kata baik. Dan jadi ada yang untuk kita mereka tadi bapa Skyline tahu apa Skyline tahu tadi mah. Kemudian saya satu dah ada apa orang tahu tidak. Kasi ano ang buto. Kasi ano tapi kita baik. Ito niya berday mo kuha daw dia kay. Ito kay mau apa kita baik dia. Kaya kay kita kay mataki. Kau kay ko tunay juga apa. Ako ni siyo kita nak ba ito kita baik ya kana itu lagi. Kan tu ya ni. Baik. Kalau kau saya kami pak Pulgas, saya udah lewat kayak Pulgas, kayak saya lebih baik lah, kuat baik lah. Kalau kita belajar apa lagi? Itu kita belajar lain bukan saya yang sudah bawa Crematory, yang sudah bawa yang dia Crematory. Bukan saya yang tahu saya nama Crematory, itu bukan Crematory, well, saya saya awal. Boleh saya berarti beberapa orang bagi kita baik mau pakai dia macam sebenarnya kita boleh kita nanti berapa tapi dia nak siapa tadi mau pakai dan ada yang apa mau pakai ada kopi ada Siulolovao. Orang bapa Siulolovao, orang Siulolovao, kau orang ini ada apa nama, ada dia ini ada orang kawan, kalau dia kait berarti dia kait pada aku jadi kan, orang di apa terlihat kalau awal ini waktu kita bawa kemudian punya anak itu dibawa bukan dibawa apa tahu kalau anak seperti ini ada yang kita bayi boleh kayak seperti tadi kayak dia dan mana pun ada apa yang boleh Skyline. Oleh waktu saya suka dia berapa.
Lihat dong mari ko mau supaya kifo matala rat beri la chulo ko chulo ko sika faya e mau fana ya ko ko sika fitua ya o moto e to pe ura fana e dai vin ya mana beri la chulo na mau tu bo e pe na pai i foto e po pai eu tá tolo na hiki mai le va ki toma no fuma tau ko arwa ko i Sioana pena te alon pe mo siulo matau ono foi ya na ma wai ono te mari ai mo pola Alusa ko siulo ko de fine ale la pena mo ma wai mo ma ke ki tania na tana te ba tolo o auke mo matua e atiko e ona tolu ta mau peo eva me ta mau peo ne fo peo mau wala mai pe me te mau kai ko fine na e ofa pea mau hiki me ke amerikani ko me ta tau na ia ni ki fa na usio le fine ko fine ko ne mo uipe ke ngai pe me kai ke kai ni fa na mo to ngai na wala ya ofa ki atu matoro ko fa menau mo o matua na lai no o matua mo siulo ya o na malo ya ko fini ko ngalo ngata anu na ofa ya ne mo fini fa pe ka ko fini le lai ko fini le ofa na ni to ko ni atu matoro i mai me alai pea na kumari ko me ta tau pe e to kon me ka mo mari pea mo ka fa na i mai me mo fe mau pe fra ko pea ko fa la e fa na lo pea ne mo pone puri ko fa la e ai ko ke ngalo ano eni ngai ma we mo ni ngai to nga mo ni ngai to fa ako kimeri mana kimeri ko aki na to kisia e video por kalama ko na woti i San Francisco na taurere na kai ko na ulo ne ano tare ni tinda poto taurere ola ka ni e te a pea o pe ofa ke mana kimeri ki fini ko ni to afa
Kami ngalale ko sisi ada mare bani ke bahasa mare ini pagi menantu beri ke Siulo ko na ke buta fa tahi banata bagi yo ke mo ke mandu ke kai ko buta fa na ma bere na piping ya Siulo ko ma bere ke kifa toma tu ya bio ofanusla ya imaba ke na piping kifa na to ke no ke Siulo ya ke piping kima ese ke bio na ya to dan na fu eso na ke bio ko hai ke na ke na tu ke na to ra ko to ke na ke boy ya mana tu ini nama apa kalau yang kamu phone ni orang basta mulut na ya kota na ku ada dan kalau belum ni kena kerja dia kerana dia dan dia macam dia koma dia Siulo kemudian Alameda ia terakhir ini ko bertanya kalau dua ini na aku mau nanti ia dapat punya tawaran yang tagayan kita tahu yang awal kita bagai punya tesi Nah, itu main mulai cuma yang mau menantar mau tim teramai sih bro, kabar kesalahan dia ini.
George, can you surely come sit up here, VIP? Because you're gonna, agora vem a Siulolovao, já foi a Yas, Skylawn, já foi a Sioana, vai lá, já foi a Mu, que quando eu vou cá tô aí, a fanal, não vem não, vai nem hiu, não que mo. Aku ko nga lahi pende fa nau mo ko mai no mai nau ngai tamai alo sias fusion
Malo Aupito mola e fai na mari quando tu vai que eu penso aqui para Malo é tipo que mana sabe vai no Siulolovao mau tu que foi bem vitalas né mau ia tá uma funeki da calotia mau de o vai que vem mau motion de mau dia dia mau aga ne hu o taxi bag de vila beyond mas ele vai ali how do you go where go better go better la hela la ni tahashi ya dogo ya ko itu apa ini Vava'u de before the model by na mai fa we mo hit tau fa hit fa but I go ahead and give my message in English. Those of you that don't know me, my name is George. I left here Frisco or San Francisco back in '87. It's been a while. It's kind of nice to have everybody back. It's like a big reunion. But I didn't expect to get up and say a few words, but I'm very grateful for the opportunity. And what I mean about nice coming back home. I grew up in this ward. I was born and raised in this ward. I grew up in primary before I moved out. So many of you I've known. Many of you I look out and you probably just hear stories. I actually lived the story you guys are probably hearing. But the first thing that came to mind as I walked in and I heard the passing of Siulolovao is that proverb that always talks about it takes a village. And everybody talks about that, but you know, that's very dear to me because I live that village. And for those of you that don't know, everybody knows where Noy Street is. I mean, when you leave out of California, the only thing you hear is, oh, he's from San Bruno, or he's from San Mateo, he's from San Jose, he's from the East Bay. But you never hear of a street. He's from Noy. And when you said Noy, everybody knew where Noy was. And as we grew up, we were very proud of that. And the unique thing about that village that we grew up in, many of us, those three homes that were there, weren't related by blood. You know, and there's a misconception about, oh, you're just friends, you're not related, we're blood. But you know what? What brought us closer together wasn't blood, but it was the Spirit of the Lord and the love that we have among each other. And these are big families that lived there. And I watched as they grew. For example, Papa Renata lived across from us. And of course, Renata was older than her family, and she brought all her family. So I knew all her family. And Papa, of course, was the oldest in his family, and I saw all that family that came. So no matter where you're at, if you do your history, you do your genealogy, it's going to somehow link back there, because when you came from Tonga, or you came from Hawaii, or you came from anywhere else, this is where you came. You look for Noi, and then from there you moved on, whether it's Sacramento, Salt Lake, or Texas. So everybody came there because they had an attachment from whatever village you came from Tonga or however. And then next to us was my uncle Opa and Paolo, and I seen the Hunis, I seen the Segonas come through the place of Paolo, and the Fonuas come through them. And then in our family too as well, on my mom's side. So whoever's here, through your history, you go back and you'll link back to these main families. And that's what I talk about, it takes a village. Because I remember, and in that village, we had the maid mothers that never worked. They stayed home and took care of the village. I don't remember Renata ever working, because she took care of her area. Siulolovao was there the same way. Paolo was there. My grandma, Piwela, was the same way. Those were the ones in the village. And when I went back to Tonga, it was kind of unique because I didn't understand that growing up. Because every Sunday, we always had to make 3, if it was a roux, if it was whatever it was, because after church, one of us would run over across the street and take one to Mapa's house and take one over to Renata's house, and then vice versa. They do the same thing, and I didn't understand. I was like, they've got their own food. Why are we taking this over there, you know? But when you go back to Tonga and you see how the love that they had among each other, then you understand that that was just something that you need to do. And it's funny because I see a lot of the kids now, our grandkids and whatnot, they talk about struggling, you know, and I tell my kids that, I said, you know, if you're struggling, it's by choice. Because the foundation was laid generations and generations ago. So if you're still struggling after 50 years, it's by choice. So look back and kind of reevaluate what you're doing wrong. But anyways, I didn't want to get into that, but I just wanted to thank you all for being here. I love Siulolovao very much, because like I said, some of the things that you've heard, I remember growing up, I used to, as a kid playing, I used to watch Nunia and before you walking over to Renata's house, and then they walk back. I see Napin Salote. They used to walk over to Renata's house. But like I said, this was like the gathering place for all the families that came from Tonga. So I was very proud of that. And it's kind of nice to leave and then come back and know where the foundation was. And I'm very proud of that. I'm very thankful for all of those, the older ones that are still here now that we're considered old. But you know, there's something to pass on, and their legacy and things that we've learned and we've heard from. We can always learn from that. And it's very important that some of these uncles of ours that are still alive, like Kui and Mariana and them still alive, call them up. Not only to see how they're doing, but talk about stuff that you never knew. You know, don't wait for days like this and then, well, I never knew that. You know, take advantage of it. And that's the question that I had growing up at the time, is they were still alive, and you learned and you observed. And then the only thing that we have today is to pass on to our generation. Whether they follow it or not, that's their choice. But anyways, thank you all. It's nice to see many of you here, Fred, Sini, Mele, my Aunt Mele, and some of you older folks that are still here. I'm just very happy to be here and be part of this program. Thank you all and the rest of the siblings for us to be here to pay our respect to our Aunt Siulolovao. And I say these things on the name of my son, Jesus Christ.
My name is Sioana, the second oldest in Moo's family. I'm not from nowhere, but I'm from Claremont Street, 3 blocks away from King Center. But like George says, it takes a village. And when we first moved here from Tonga, Siulolovao and Vava'u was one of the families that we live with. Not a lot of people knew that, but we're very close. We considered ourselves brothers and sisters. But Siulolovao was the sister that my dad was afraid of. A lot of people know him. He's like a bully. You know, he speaks like he's tough. But you know, my upbringing, I remember Siulolovao was always kept moving off my back and beating me up. And I just appreciate her and just taking care of me. She always had breakfast. Regardless, it was just rice and butter and sprinkle some sugar on top. But she made the best cocoa. And I'm still traumatized from one day that she made cocoa and she told me to go turn off the cocoa, the stove. And you know, the handle of the culo. You know, back then it didn't have it had the culo with the handle, like a long one, and I hit it and the cocoa spilled on the side there. I still got the burn mark to prove that, but we never told my parents. So, but I just appreciate her and her family, Malo, for giving us this time. I know that she was a woman that lived the gospel, and I appreciate her instilling that in me. And I strive to live that life the best I can. And I think today I'm proud to know that I'm not the boost, but just to carry my record, man, is part of her. It's because what she instilled in all of me and Mele and Mo and Hemi. Me and Hemi, you know, we were like twins. But you can tell who's the good-looking twin and who was the good twin. But I appreciate Malo for always being there. He was like our big brother. I love him. I love Mele and Filila. Mele has the soft voice like Siulolovao, and Filila was just a little anger part that came out with the can. And people to keep away the family. Thank you, Siulolovao, for everything. Sorry that I didn't keep a lot of contact, but I appreciate you and your family and what you've done for me. And I am today is because of you being part of my life. We moved here in 1975. Thank you very much, and I love you. Miss you. I know my dad is excited, but not. He's probably scratching his head to see you because he knows you're the real boss. So I love you. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Malo ben ki he nai tungania Siulolovao ama ne nai tokoa ne tokoa te ina ne tapete ya ofa la ya ofa o ilo beo ke no fo le pe ka ile mai Vava'u ma o kala pe ma ofa ki kai na mo family na o sia e ka o ko ta ko kala ma ma no wa ta ko le pe ni e tata ka o e family ko so saya mamala tabe mau korbe fine ki haviva te ke hiva ane to fana mo ne hiva to fai pe fam ki video to mai ko saya e to mai io se fa le bata ma ke he ka ko saya la se ko saya pe se va ko ta ko ni silo Siulolovao ko ni ko ha e tata ilo ta fa mi ni to ni ka ko ne o pe fata ku hane fata ku tau pe ho si ma so ri ka e puna mai te vai he ka ho si mai kada pe fa mi ai ni tau mai mai si ka mai mai pe wa he wa hi vai mai si ni ki ma tu ko e programa a lo tu ni
Grateful for this opportunity. Be up here and share. I was asked by Mele to sing a song. I have so many memories about Nancy Siulolovao and all her kids since the day I was born till today. Everyone knows that we're very close Father Kata family. It's never a serious moment when we're together. Just like my brother Chen and everyone said, The memories about Sioulolo, she was always cooking. Whether it's one person or there's 30 people. And I remember about 20 years ago when my grandma, Nunia, was sick. And we'd fly over here and visit her, Sioulolo. One thing that sticks to me is, I remember she said, why are you guys sad? Ever since you're young and raised by your grandma and your mom, you were taught. You keep the commandments, you follow God, put God first in your life. You don't have to worry about anything. Grandma's okay. You know where she's going. After that, I went to visit Grandma before she passed in the hospital. And she told me the same thing. She said, oh, tangi koe. Mawasilo perfecto te algiai. This is the plan. This is God's plan. You already know why we're on this earth. And you already know where we're going after this. Don't be sad. Be happy, like Mama said, we're here to be happy. And I always remember my grandma telling me that, Sioulolo saying that, and everybody knows my mom. My mom's the same way. Tuyo tua, she says. Foki gelo tu. Be ready. When that time comes, just be ready. You'll know where you're going. So it's been 20 years since I cried at a funeral, especially a family member who I knew that was righteous, like my Aunt Sioulolo. Because they tell you, they already know where they're going after this life. So be happy for them. Pa'o vale auia, putu koe ho tangata iki, ko sio ke te whaki, he tangi ho whai. Why is she crying? I thought she said, you already know where he's going. So I'm happy. I'm happy that we're in a room full of family members who live this gospel and have a plan that we follow and know where we're going after this life. Because nothing in this life is more important than family and knowing where we're going after this. I apologize for wearing the shades because believe it or not, I have stage fright. This has been a while since I drank alcohol, so I usually only drink when I usually only sing when I drink, but it's been 4 years. So Alameda asked me to sing this song. That's my request, so. Looking back on the memory of the dance we shared beneath the stars above. For a moment, all the world was black. How could I have known goodbye? And now, when I didn't know where it all went, where it all would go, how I
Sioana Siulolovao, fatau ni ma pe kine kui. Ako kambia dia ki kwa ki mai pe, e to ki vagai e a Hong Kai ia mo ia tau, e ma pe ki tau fia fia. Ka tau kore pe ka Sinai, you want to say hi, bye to Grandma? If you want. And Lo, after night you wanna just want to, you know, one sentence or something. Is that okay? But do go with Vava'u. Do go with Vava'u to do it. Oh, sorry. Sinai.
I never talked to the family before, but I just want to thank everybody for coming.
pain and condolences to other people. And I don't realize how important it is to be there for other people when they're going through something like this. I'm thankful for my grandma for always providing for me. And even though I didn't understand what she was saying, I told you, she always yelled at me, but I still acted like I knew what she was saying. And people still think that I know more Tongan than Lolo, but I probably don't. I'm thankful for my brother because even though she was going through stuff, he always knew how to make better of the situation. And my sister for always yelling at him for when he did it too much. But yeah, I just want to say thank you to everybody again. I love you all. I know that you're just doing. I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Tao phua le rei peki Vava'u. Padi tu lea pe mala. Anak pelo. Sai ho watu Aisea. Ko ta hai le mama I kere family. Aisea. Ko first class na ke hega mai watu na wa hega mai no first class. Algo hega mai ka pa ka I muri. Na ki. Ake pa ni no ta ha me lolo. Ako ba Aisea, kore ka Losri, ako ya siya rihal tau na ako tau imuy he, na pe o hatawa. Sai, ako ba Aisea, ako ba Losri, na tau tawat, palo, anak pe Aisea.
Kai mulai whawahewai kua. Niama ni hoko peko e kuika na ni te hoko pe whae kia te ia e ni tuku haki. Mo whamalo i ala ia te ia. Koi koe o tamari reiki ni whaho. Ke kuhoa. Lava ke ni hoko koe tokoni ka te au. Uma ki whangi. Ko te whaha peni ka o whala. Ka Siulolovao. Ma whala ki te ia. Pāua ni wofa i o mātua ki te whaketaha. O i whaha pera ki raua pāua i ki Malo Aupito. O maa whalaki ka motoro te whake whanau. O si toia whamiri. O ki rea ko whai o whasu paraisi. Amen.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alusa, and I'm the eldest granddaughter of Siulolovao, and I'm Alusa's daughter. I just want to let my husband know that my mom said you finally earned your first class, so you can come sit up in the front with us if you want. Like my husband's, I was raised by my grandma since I was born all the way through adulthood. I was the very fortunate one out of us grandkids, I think, to be raised by my grandparents and to be with my grandma. Growing up, like everyone said, she made the best fried chicken, and you can tell from all her kids and some of her grandkids that she fed us very well, even through to today. And my grandma, you know, usually when you get home from elementary school, like 3rd grade, you come home to maybe, you know, maybe a Vava'u household, maybe to like some celery sticks or carrots. But us grandkids, when all of us came home, we had fried chicken and lu and talo and ufi ready for us to eat. And so, you know, Grandma, I just want to let you know that you're always the #1 cook. You know, growing up with my grandma, you know, my husband said I thought food too much, but that's because I learned it from her. So all of the food you hear at home is because of her. And she always treated me like a princess growing up. When we were thinking of where to have her funeral, we wanted to have it here, to bring her home in this chapel. This is where we grew up. This is our home. And so I'm grateful that my uncles and them allowed us to make the vacation to have it here. As I look out, there's so many from the Minuku grandkids to everyone here that my grandma took care of. She wasn't just the grandma to us, but she was grandma to everyone. And all the kids that are here, I know they can agree with that. When I grew up, my grandma, I think if, you know, Ela and Peter just walked in, we all grew up together. There's a little stool, and even going stand, I think they might remember, it's a red stool. Every single morning, if you see that stool right in front of her feet, you better go there because she's gonna break your hair to school. And I remember one time, you know, if anybody pulls my hair, I'm okay because she twists my hair all the time. And so we're so used to that. And so whenever you see the red stool, you know that she was gonna break your hair for school. She was always on time for seminary. I would sleep at my grandparents' house. I would sleep over there. And my grandma, I remember every single morning, an hour before seminary, let's make you wake up. And I would always yell, Grandma, it's not even time to get ready yet. And she'd go, oh, what? Okay, go back to sleep. 10 minutes later, let's make you wake up. Grandma, it's only 10 minutes past. she'd say, I always wanted to be early to seminary and always make time for breakfast. Grandma, I think I had a lot of breakfast growing up. But I just want to thank everyone that is here, for being here today and sharing this special occasion with us. And I want to express my love to Sioana. Don't worry, I'm gonna make sure that your kids marry a good family, and I'm gonna take care of that with Malo. I'm gonna make sure he marries someone very good, right, Malo? I love each and every one of you, Nana. I love you so much. Till we meet again. Say these things in Jesus Christ's name.
Sioana Siulolovao. Final. When you have in one mission, but I'm actually a computer. Type a member new for type a new for hi. He atalera him. Silver food, Maka Bay, Alaska, wife, like 5 million of money. Go Mahana Lake Town. But you are Lake Town, where they are only must be Lake Town, and a lot of must be. How he want me? I make a mobile pay. About over down you. For how long do I need to pay? Lavagas Yasi. The handing out new way. For she went up to your hand with love and noise. They're not. But they have become new way. I'm a family a piano. Lavinia for no. Now, I know you might if I hit them up my hindu behind you. But I go from you on my government over here. And I have hope for family bear, we had China bear, Sioana. Opel, me, Olamia, or Famata, my Sioana, and what? When you are with them, Sioana, but how when you are going. But I met him about the time, I know I think took the helm here. And if they hear, Sioana, Siulolovao. If I might have on the phone, I love a pure fire for okay. Hingoa, we long I think cook the helm here. Tana Sioana Siulolovao, or Uma, where do we finish that? But Fetutaki, he will get Pecoya, Osco Hike Fineki, Osio the program, Uma, I YouTube the program of New Connection. I bet it's your Fineki. Fear Fineki, Uma, Siope. The program of the Lave Muniwa. They also speak about how I keep program of the Katama 4. Ongi motu ve au nai na toka mi asilo. Ba we de pa fe mata ha. Ina do fitu me na ku ai. Io ga na ke moi mata ha. To ya ta bola mata ha. Kana la ka we ga ni niwa. Binga pe ko ni hingwa. O Sioana Siulolovao. Takelo. Ya ina pe he na fala hi be ma ni fa mo puna. Yo ko le ni ka ka ko sa andra. Kina hao pio vai vai na kaimi e mo tomri e na ero pio fa mo puna o pe ya se de la lai ko e pe ka wa mo puna na Sioana e o pe o na o os veni ta ko ala fe lai a mo to to ko e a me le ha mo lo sli pa ta ho vai pe ta ko e fa mo puna Sioana na ma la ka o pe ko e ko la pe ko a ma winga ya ko ya ka sa no Mo Kalo. Sorry, I didn't want to put you on the spot, but I know if I told you ahead of time, you'd probably be out there in the lounge. So, just come say a few words. And if Peter or Eli's here too, that was a lot of our grandkids. That's why later on we became this size, because all that food. We started building. I said, when I have a job, I want to eat as much as I can. So, kaya bim ya famalo kagoy Cassandra, wala bim mo to hala ya. Okalo, Peter mo ide, ama tomeli Malo.
Good morning, family. I'm Cassandra, the oldest daughter of Fred and Joyce Manuku. And we were fortunate enough to spend a lot of our younger days with Siulolovao before she had her own grandkids, before they came along, and after she was done raising her Vava'u children, the older ones. We were lucky enough to spend the time with her because my parents were working, and we all went to Parkside Elementary, the same school that the older folks here went to, and we would walk home to Nona every day after school, and Siulolovao would be there ready for us to make us lunch or just to take care of us. And I just remember her always joking around, and even as we grew older, she never, I want to apologize for not visiting us often, but she'd always call in and check up on us. But one thing, every time I knew she was called, or she would call, and I'd see her phone, and I'd get excited and talk to her, and she'd call and ask me how I'm doing, how are my kids, and then she'd say that she loves me and she loves my kids. And then as soon as I turned around to ask her how she's doing, how's Fulao doing, I'd hear like the dial tone, and I'm like, hello. She only had time, she didn't want to keep me long on the phone, and that's what she always said. She said, I'm just calling to, just to check up on you. She said, I don't want to take too much of your time, but I just want to see how you're doing and let you know that I love you. And then that was it. She didn't give me a chance to say I love you back or anything. She's a busy woman calling all of her phone book. She had her little black phone book with all of her numbers. But I'm so grateful for her and for her children for allowing us to share her time. And even in her last days, in her last moments, I know it should have probably been a private thing with her children, but they allowed us to be with her on Zoom and say some last goodbyes while she could still hear us. And I just want to express my love to you all, and I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Hi, my name is Skyline. I thought I was the only special child, but I guess I'm learning now that she treated a village the same way she treated me. I never wanted to leave Noah growing up. I just wanted to stay there because of the love that I felt, the specialness that I felt. She catered to us children, and I think she lived through us, through our happiness. My parents would tell me that they're going to come pick me up, and I would just cry and stay. Then it got to the point where you tell your child, like, oh, I'm going to take you to the store. Don't worry, you'll come back. And then I would leave, and I didn't come back. I would just cry until they brought me back, just to be there
with my grandparents and with Siulolovao and Pulgas. There's too many memories that I have of her. She would hide things under her pillow and tell the kids that she ran out of candy, but then she told me to go there after they leave. She'd make her Sia and my older siblings cook for me because she knew I liked things a certain way. Seeing her just stay at home always made me wonder, like, how come she never drove, or how come she doesn't do this and that? But I know right now it gives me peace because she's seeing the world in another view. She's watching over us and just probably laughing the storm and, you know, how we live, and instead of calling us, she was going to be whispering to us with her spirit. I know. I'm very blessed, and I feel undeserved love that I have from her. But thank you, Silo. Thank you for taking care of me. Thank you for being a light. Thank you for giving these memories to us and our family and this village that we share. I love you all, and I love your family. In the name of Jesus Christ.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. For those who don't know me, my name is Vava'u. I'm the youngest son of Vava'u. I was blessed to be raised at nowhere with 2 sets of grandparents. My paternal grandparents, Divita Mapava and Lenata, and Vava'u and Siulolovao. So, grew up with a lot of memories with Siulolovao. I'm just grateful for her loving and cooking and always making sure that I was known to be her favorite. Sorry everybody else, but yeah, that's the facts. But just want to express my love to Siulolovao. Sorry I didn't make the time to come out and see you all the time, but I always cherish the memories we had when I was younger. And so my love to my Alusa siblings. I love you guys. And let's celebrate the life. Love you. And for Siulolovao, Vava'u. Say these things in the name of His Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Passenger, are you there? You still here? Yeah. Please come up to the podium. Malo. Hey, bring your kids in.
Sorry, man, I thought Peter was going to do the talk for both of us, but I guess he just did it for himself. But I just want to thank our Heavenly Father for bringing us all here today, and thank Mo for giving me this opportunity to speak to you all today. My name is Amaila Megan Vainuku Salt, the daughter of the youngest, actually, Siulolovao Mapa Vainuku and of Siulolovao. I have a lot of memories of Siulolovao, but I just want to express my gratitude and thank her for her helping hands and watching me and my brother while my parents worked. And sorry, I don't know why I'm so nervous and shaky. But I just want to tell her that well, the last time I went to go visit Mo and them, I couldn't see her because she was sick. But I'm glad that I went there and I was near and I felt her presence. And I just want to tell her how much I love her and that I'm thankful for all she's done for me and my brother and our family. And I wish that she could have seen my kids and met them. They're so Vava'u, especially Peter, it takes after his namesake. But I just want to express my love to you all, and I'm grateful to be here to say my last goodbyes, or my see you laters. But I love you all, and I know my mom, she sends her love as well. And I say these things in Jesus Christ, amen.
First off, Siulolovao, I apologize that me and my uncle Malo doesn't have hair for you to braid, for us to sit on the red chair. But you guys know this lady, she's a very sweet lady. Every time I come from Texas visit, when you walk into my grandma's house, there's always only two people. It's either my grandma or Siulolovao. And I always thought of them as Batman and Robin. So if Batman's not there, Robin's going to be there, and vice versa. My life is not going to be the same anymore. I know physically because you're not here. But with the gospel that we understand, with the life that we've been living in, you feel more rich in our spirit, knowing that we're related to you, that we're part of you, and you're part of us. And grateful for all your examples, the love that you've shown. And, we send our love to all our family and friends on the other side, and express my love to all my aunties and uncles here. Good to see all my family members here. Express my love to each and every one of you guys, and I say this in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Oh, katape manoso. Bau hena manoso. Oh, sai. Tau hoko alo ni ke whanau wani a Siulolovao malo mo ka atake mo. Lava peo tau ki ka whakaranga ngi e si whae o whina wani. Whamalo pe ni ki hukupanga. Tau ipa e whanau wani o te ua ka angkolo tani tau alo e vai pāka. Tau we love tau, she went like, hey, is that your son? I said, yeah, that's my boy. Whare pe wako i keisi whoki ka tau tōla where tia mo pita, he nā wako e o koko. Tai miu nau rea ai kuki ake pāka, he. O pe mai ka o, hey, to my whini koe. Oh man, you got a cute son. Yeah, it's just like my dad, the dad. O ware pe mai, kamanena nau rea pe mai pita. That's not my daddy. I said, see what the mom tells him? Yeah, you gotta pay that child support, and this is what the mom pays him. But you know, that's what I was happy to have these kids. I realized his potential. You know, I didn't have to go on a date, I just go to the park with these kids. But once they started speaking, you know, I said, oh, you know what? You stay home with grandma. Because you guys will stitch me out. But to continue on, that's when my mom always laughed. She goes, hey, the kids over there saying, they saw their daddy over there. I said, yeah. He goes, you were the daddy. I said, you know, spiritually, because the Happy Meals cost a meal. And that was like an hour. You know, I only got $6 an hour back then, and that's $6 for a meal. So I had to, you know, I had to work for their money too, even though it's child labor. But you know, it's a bargain. You know, both sides are happy. But yeah, that was it. You know, love the kids, and that's how my mom was. You know, she was always just in the Bible when Jesus said, "Be like your spirit, like kids, like children." And that's what it was, just free me freely, speaking openly, and learning how to forgive and love openly, But that's what we learned. We learned to be kids. And that's why I was happy. She goes, oh, my father, he was always an explorer. He decided to do different business ventures and, do his missionary work. I love my father, but there's two different parts. But, my father, he was always around and about. And then I guess that's why I got a habit, learning these activities outside. Well, they're positive things, missionary work, fellowship to your fellow brother and sister. But anyways, I'm happy with continuing on the program here. The reason I want to say the second part is because my younger siblings, and I tell you this, if you speak Tongan and your Tongan is bad, just tell them you're from Niua, and you got a free pass. We'll talk about it after the funeral, when we get together, and it works. To continue on, I'd like to ask my siblings. Here's Manuel for coming before that, and after Manuel, then we'll continue on my siblings. And we'll start with Venecia, Ulaya, Alusa. After that, it'll be Felila, Final. Then after Final will be Sister Mele, Kalamamori, Alusa. And then after that, lastly, will be my brother here, Hemi. A lot of people don't know who Hemi is. He goes, who's that guy over there? Is that your twin? I said, no, man, come on. Look at this. I got a little, my hair is chosen. I fully cut my hair this way. But anyway, that's just for laughs. But I'm happy my brother here. And I think this is the only time my mom visioned this. So we all in one place, one house of worship. One day, out of the last, years. I'm not going to say when, but this is the only time that I've noticed that we've been here under the house of the Lord and to share our love for Jesus Christ and His teachings. And that's what our mother did for us, and that's why we're here. And I'm thankful for, Peter and even all the grandkids. They call it grandkids, but I just want to call them my own kids too, because that was, the first 3 years, they were like my kids when I took them to the park, until they started speaking. But other than that, we'll continue on. So, heavy with Manuel, and like I said, the next lineup will be ready, and then we'll continue on then. Thanks again for all your patience. That's part of Siulolo's attributes, patience. And I guess we're going to learn from my siblings about that. I don't want to ruin it. So, Manuel, please.
I'm very grateful for this opportunity that I have to be able to speak about Siulolo. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Manuel Fonua. I am the youngest child of Sini and Tony Fonua. And when I was 12 years old, my mom picked up all of our stuff and we moved here to California. Can you imagine moving from a home where there's just nothing but the parents and the kids to a senior home? Yeah, that was a hard struggle for me. When I came to Hanoi for the first time, it was really, really tough for me to get used to my grandma and Siulolo. Last I remembered, my mom just said we were moving to my grandma. I didn't know there was going to be two there. But man, I loved it. Me and Siulolo had a special kind of relationship. Like, she knew I was coffee, and I knew vice versa. So we kind of read each other very well. Eventually, I became her initial favorite. I just remember the times when, growing up, I'd want to go out. I'd ask my mom, and the procedure was, if my mom said no and grandma said yes, it's a yes. So I asked my mom if I could go out. She said no, and I said, okay, I'm gonna go ask grandma. Went straight to Siulolo. Siulolo, can I go out? She said, ew. I said, okay. Went back to my mom. Mom, grandma said yes. Okay, go, come back. Oh man, I love Siulolovao. When I found out that they were gonna pull the plugs on her, my mom told me when we were driving, I cried. It took me a while to collect what she was trying to tell me. And when I found out, I dropped her off. I said, I'll be back. Called Mele. Mele, what hospital is Siulolovao in? Oh, Stanford also, but we can't go in. Oh, that does not matter. I just thought, you know, if my grandma was in the hospital, with no one inside, at least I could be outside. And the same love that I have for my grandma is the same love I have for Siulolovao. I want to tell her kids how much I love them. Tell Siulolovao I'm sorry for not making the efforts to come out and visit you as much as I could have. Siulolovao, ¿qué quieres? ¿La fe o no? ¿Qué fue para que mamá? Auto con ina que sai que cucuy mo família. Malo Aupito. I just want to express my love to everyone and say these things in the name of Christ. Amen.
Buenos dias, everyone. A lot of people are like, hey, who's that Nico? I think I'm the 5th child that no one knows of. But this is actually the ward and the church that I was raised in. I just have memories of Foster City and this chapel. This is also the chapel I was baptized in. But also, too, this is my mom's chapel. This is the only place I know that she stepped foot in, and when we moved, she never went to another chapel. So this is home for her. I want to just express my love to all of you guys. George talked about being raised by a village. Definitely, I can be that, raised by the village. My name is Alusa. A lot of people are like, what's your grandma, grandpa? Okay, I guess I don't have any parents, thanks. But my mom verified that after she showed me my birth certificate. She goes, no, you're our kid. Okay. Because it seemed like I'm not. And it's nice to hear that there was a lot of princesses and a lot of favorites, because I feel like, man, every time I always get bullied on, and all the little kids bully on me, and I go, hey, I guess I am adopted. I guess so. Maybe this is a fake birth certificate. But I want to thank everyone. Even those who are on live stream with us online, it really does take a village. I'm so grateful for for their families. They're a big village themselves, but they extend so much. I'm so grateful for the past bishops that we had here from Penn 2nd, and even Penn 3rd. They're so amazing, and they're so amazing with my mom. You know, she would just stay home, and she would always say her and her brother Ahasi's the same. You know, they just have church at home and believe in God. And you know, for me, I know that being raised in the church, a lot of times my mom would tell me, hey, get up, you know, go to seminary, just like go sleep. And at least go sleep got to sleep, and oh Yahweh, you know, she throws a shoe. Okay, I gotta get up and go. And I guess that's, you know, while leads me treated like a princess, I'm the one who has to work and, you know, do the things that I should do, and I'm humbled by that. Unfortunately, I also have a mouth. I guess that's my only way to attack is speak back, but I'm so grateful to have all the time to actually spend with my mom, if anything. I learned a lot of Tongan language from all the Vava'us. Thank you, Mom. I learned that it takes about 3 to 5 hours to make really good lolofai kakai. Too bad I did not learn any of that talent. All my brothers and sisters are very good cooks. I think I can clean. Mom, thank you so much for, I didn't get fried chicken. She just made me really good sandwiches. So maybe she was trying to put me on a weight loss. I don't know. I don't know if it was working, but Mom, I want to thank you for taking the time for me to learn my Tongan by reading the Book of Mormon to you. I know she's like correcting me with every word, even with the Doctrine and Covenants. And even though she didn't step inside the chapel, she did teach at home. She always reminded me to say prayer before I go to work and after when I come back home. Everyone gets these special calls. I get a special call to be like, hey, where are you? Okay, hello, you know. But she loved actually doing a lot of that. I got to see, she loved to do visit teaching by calling. And I think even after she stopped going to church, and she continued to do that to everyone else. I like to thank everyone for their patience of that. I don't want to take up more time, but Mom, we had our own church at home. We know the gospel. And the plan of salvation is the greatest thing. And I look forward to that. Some days I want to look forward to it quicker, but okay, that's another time. I love you all. I want to tell Felila I'm not adopted, so thank you. But again, I love each and every one of you. I like to thank her visiting teachers or her ministering sisters for always taking the time to visit her. Thank you so much. And I love our bishop from Penn 3rd. He's a really great guy. So thank you all. I love you, family. And I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Hello all. My name is Felila, and I'm the oldest. I guess I'm number 4 kids. As John was saying, with my mom and his dad, Muhu and Siulolovao, that would be me and Mele. So that's our dynamics. And I don't know, when my mom passed, the first thing that I thought of was her older brother, Muhu. I said, probably when the gates opened and he looked over, like in typical Muhu style, scratches his head and was like, oh man, why does she have to come now? And I was enjoying myself, now there's a new one on the playground, why? And Mom, don't talahui to Muhu, okay? We always, every single time, I'd always hear her, and I'm like, when I was talking to Molo last night, I said, yeah, you always knew. I said to my mom, who are you talking to? Muhu? I said, Mom, that's why your brother doesn't want to call you, because all you do is yell. And she said, somebody got to yell at him. He needs to listen sometimes. I'm like, yeah, but you need to know your age. So Mary, I'm sorry, I learned it from your mother. So, I got to keep her legacy alive, okay? So, I get like about that. When she passed and stuff, and up to leading to this day, we very, had our little Jerry Springer moments here and there, and Mo and Hemi had to be the little refs into our little spats, and all of a sudden, can you just, I said, Rodney King, can we just get along? And so, of course, I get out of the car and I say to Mele, when me and her get into it, I said, hey, I'm going to pray for you, okay? He said, don't you pray for me. I said, and then I was laughing, so I come and I tell Sialeka, yeah, I told your sister I'm going to pray for her. She had a fit. And Sia goes, oh, that's like you saying a bad word to her, you might as well just say that. I said, hey, we all have faith. Mom instilled into us faith. I said, just because I don't go there every single Sunday, it doesn't mean I don't believe. And that's the thing that my mom had instilled in us. Fear God, and always remember that they're here to teach us. And it's our choices to make the right thing, but to always keep the faith in us. And so, I was working, and I'd see some of the missionaries come in, and I'd say, hi elders, hi sisters, and my coworkers would look at me and go, what are you saying? I go, hello, I grew up Mormon, I may not follow it, but I have the faith. And I said, and if you look into it and you want to know about the religion, let me know and I will go ahead and explain to you what it is. I know one day we'll go back. But on another note, with my mother, I was just telling Molo about the story with John and Shree, how John used to lock Shree in the closet and she would cry and stuff. Just all the stories that my mom would tell us about it. But one thing that I do know, looking at the way we were raised, as I got to spend time, when Mary and then went to go dress my mom, yesterday I got the time to spend with my uncle Asta and my uncle Tava, and I said, hey, let's go kaipo while those guys have to do that, because I can't go over there, so I guess Nunia and Lololika, they have to go do that, but we can go. And I got to spend the time with my two uncles, and just the way our dynamics of our family worked when we all get together, even us First Bloods, when we're all together with my mom and her brothers and everyone, the way that they got along was just laughs. We sit there and joke. Our joke was when we get together is, hey, no crying here. You know, if you're crying, that means, you know, you can't handle this. So you really, growing up in our circle, you had to have tough skin because, you know, we would you know, it was just making sure that you're ready for the world, per se. But I just want to thank each and every one of you guys for being here. Thank my family. I know with my mom, she was a little rough around the edges and stuff, and didn't really show it, but always taught us that to always love our family, remember our family, and at the end of the day, have respect. We may not all get along, but you know what? Always remember that there's blood flowing, and then you always learn to forgive, learn to look at the different side of things, and always remember that at the end of the day, that we're family, and that things will always work out as long as you pray and ask for the guidance. And I just want to tell my brothers, thank you guys so very much. You know, when my mom was leaving, I said to her, I want you to go peacefully, so don't worry about your two princesses. We will take care of your two girls, and they'll be okay. Don't worry about the girls, we'll take care of the princesses. So, Mo and Hemi, Mom is gone, so Mele and Sia, you need to step up to the plate and take care of your two princesses, okay? I'll be the queen. So on that note, I just want to tell each and every one of you guys how much I love you guys and how much I appreciate you guys all taking the time to come and celebrate my mom's life here on earth, and now she's with her loved ones. And thank you guys very much. My profile I had for all of you. I see this season in Christ and Jesus Christ. Amen.
Good morning. You know, we were planning my mom's funeral. You know, we planned for 9:30, and you know, Leslie's like, oh, we should do 9 o'clock because, you know, Tongan time 9:30, and I thought, oh yeah, that's a good idea. So today I was running on the 9:30, and next thing you know, I had my cousins with me, and she has a little girl, and I said, oh, it's really 9:30, so we can go to McDonald's and get Nafis some breakfast. Next thing you know, while we're standing in line at McDonald's, Siulolovao goes, oh man, the live stream is going. I said, well, we just pulled up to McDonald's. What time is it? They said 9:30. And I said, that was just a lie. It's supposed to be 9, we just say 9 o'clock, everybody is going to be there by 9:30. And I was like, how dare Mo start it at not before I get there? It's supposed to be 9:30 and it was only 9:15. And so, you know, I think Mo meant to do that on purpose to make it look like I was late. But Mother, I was here by 9:32. And so that really doesn't count as being late. I'm so grateful to hear all the memories of everybody that shared. You know, I've never heard my brother talk so much. You know, when we were growing up, Mo, he was the shyest one. As soon as he heard a door knock, somebody knock at the door, he'd run to his room. And if, you know, people come over on Sundays and they stay for 12 hours, right? When they visit. And, you know, we would go in and out as children would eat, drink, you know, and Mo would be like, can you go get me a drink? And we're like, no, that's not our fault, you're shy. Go get your own drink. Oh, can you go get me some food? No, don't be shy, go get your own food. You know, and I am so proud of my brother that he actually can talk. And so that's a great gift that he inherited, apparently, from my mother at an older age. And so, you know, with Mo, I love you, Mo. You know, we mentioned about my mom's siblings. You know, they taught us well. They taught us to be bullies. You know, you just, no filter, everything goes. You know, so when us first cousins, when we get together, even our own siblings, you know, we don't know how to really be lovey-dovey. You know, my mother taught us to be very strong. We barely ever saw her cry. And so that's why as children, you know, all we're doing is we're just like, oh, sorry, I forgot to take this down. My brother reminds me. You know, they always taught us to be very strong. So when us first cousins, we get together, like my sister mentioned, you know, if we clown, we are clowning on truth, and don't you dare cry. You know, you stand strong. And so that's how I remember my uncles and my aunts, and so it just kind of trickled down. And so with us kids, as well and as first cousins, we just know how to kind of clown on each other, which they call it roasting. And then you go to church and you realize that's not a good thing. You have to show love. You have to be Christ-like. And you have to love one another, but we just showed it differently, you know, with us, you know. And so at the end of the day, I'm really grateful for our family dynamics. You know, we are a very unique family in so many ways. With my mother, I am the eldest daughter, and I saw her spiritual side, and I took that. Felila saw her bossy side, and took that. And so we are given the free agency to choose, and so I'm grateful because that's what makes our dynamic in our family. But I'm very grateful for my siblings. I love them very much. I know that they do a lot. And I'm so grateful for my sister and her children that I'm able to bear the title of auntie. I always tell my daughter, you have the best faetangatas in the world. So you remember that and you respect them because they spoil the children so much. So we're kind of glad they don't have children, so they kind of take the financial burdens off of us by spoiling them, and I'm grateful for that. My mom and our family, I know it's been a long time, I was trying to tell Mo, like, let's just sing one song to just kind of break all the talks, because sometimes my ADD kicks in and I need a little music, you know, but he's the boss, no song to break the monotonous there, but you know, one of the memories of with my mom, let me tell you our family dynamics. You know, there's four of us. You know, it's Mala, Hemi, me, and then Felila. Then for a long time, my mom was in her early 40s. She finally had Sia. So people kind of forget who Sia is, and they really think she is the adopted one. You know, but she's not the adopted one. I always tell Sia, you're the obedient one. You're the one that should have came first and led the way and be the example for me and Sia. But God saved you for last because the best, you know, save the best for last. And I love my little sister for obedience. To be able to put up with all of us, it takes a lot of patience. And I'm so grateful for Sia. One of the things that with us four is that, you know, Mo, by default, he is the favorite of my parents, because he's the eldest. And then Hemi, who is actually my dad's worst nightmare. And then there was me, who was my mom's worst nightmare. And then you have Fells, who is by default the baby and is the favorite. So then you have us two in the middle here. And so they say, yes, it's true with middle children. And so one thing that I remember about my mom is, you know, Hemi always got in trouble. You know, Hemi, I'm just gonna say it because everybody already knew. You know, Hemi always got in trouble in school. You know, my dad had to go to the principal's office, you know, and first growing up in America, if your dad has to take time off, that is lost paycheck time. And you know what that means. You get beat in the principal's office, then you get beat in the car, then you get beat at home, and it never ends. And so my dad had to lose, you know, paycheck a few times. And so, you know, I witnessed at home, you know, my brother getting the Tongan discipline. And my mom would say, what, you know, and I had to lose hours, you know, I gotta feed these kids. And, you know, and then my mom would come and she would bring some ice, you know, and that was all my dad knew, because he wanted us to be good kids. And then you have me on the other hand. She loved my brother Hemi, and that was because, like I said, he was the troublemaker, and so she always wanted to make sure that he was taken care of. And then you have me and Mo, we were pranksters. So, you know, me and Mo, we would like to put fake snakes, fake rats, and you know, she gets so mad, and you know, she wouldn't even touch it, but she'd get so mad and yell at us. She knew it was us. But I took the pranking to another level. You know, one time we were playing as kids inside the room, and we have this closet that has like an extension closet, and Hemi came to like, we were all playing, and he came to scare me. Well, my auntie Mariana lived with us, and she wore high heels. And when he jumped down to scare me, I took the high heel and hit his head. Well, I didn't know that it was gonna cause him to go to the emergency room. And rather than my mom yelling at me, hitting me, she yelled at me. And she tortured me. And she said, you wait till your father comes back. You are gonna get it, and you better hope he doesn't die. And I was like, oh my goodness, just kill me now, mother. And she just tortured me the whole time. So when I saw my brother come out 5 hours later, I was like, he lived. But I still got the beating, but he lived. And he has the scar to show that. And one time, you know, I wanted to be a scientist at a young age. And, you know, I'd always go to my grandparents' house, who lived at Meliana and Sioana's house. You know, and I was just fascinated by fire. And so, you know, I just decided to, you know, well, I wonder what would happen if I lit this paper. And this paper just kind of, you know, almost burned my hand. And I was trying, as a little kid, and I was hiding behind the couch. And I had to let the paper go, and the couch slowly caught on fire in the back. And, you know, my grandma's like, I smell fire. And I'm like, oh my goodness, how can I, you know, get this out? And my grandpa is funny. And so next thing you know, they're like, go ahead, you know, I'll be going over here, you know, somewhere, you know, and they start seeing little smokes. And I said, the couch is on fire. Because I couldn't control it anymore. So they eventually put it out, and grandma calls my mom. I said, please, just kill me, don't call my mom. And she says, no, she's not allowed to come over to this house without you. And I was like, oh, please, this is like haven over here. I don't have to deal with my mom telling me to, you know, do this. As the eldest, you just do everything. You know, and so, you know, with us middle children, we kind of gave my mom a little good life, spice up her life a little bit. But children were her life. You know, we grew up where we were surrounded by kids. That was the first time I actually came in contact with Native American. Vincenti Vaitai was married originally. First wife was to a Native American woman, very beautiful woman, and she had a sister. and her, the sister had a son named Wisdom, and that was the first that I learned that, and I thought, oh, that's so awesome. I learned about this culture that they named their children in sacred ways. And my mother really taught us a lot. She loved to cook. As you can see, we're all skinny. We all know our nutrition very well. My mother was a great cook. Indeed, when we came home, we did have a full meal. I want to address my niece, representing the Vava'u on the Vava'u seat. When we were talking about a Vava'u, I remember a conversation I had with my dad, and years ago when I said, oh Dad, you know, we were talking about the Vava'u system, and my dad said, I said, my dad said, and I said, okay, and that always stuck in my head. But as I talked to my brother and my sister, I came to realize the importance of family. Here sits my niece, the eldest daughter of my sister Felila. She carries my mother's name, Sioana, Siulolovao. She also has my mother's sense of humor. She is my mother's everything. She is my mother's pride and joy. And I want to express my love to her. I know my mother is very, very happy that her namesake, beautiful namesake, is sitting with her. The proclamation to the family states, happiness in family life is most likely to be achieved when founded upon the teachings of Jesus Christ, the Lord Jesus Christ. Forgive us of our shortcomings, of the teachings of the Tongan culture, if we were not taught enough, if we didn't show that we were taught enough. But I hope that doesn't overshadow the teachings of our Savior Jesus Christ, which is to lay our treasures up in heaven. And that is what my mother did. President Henry B. Eyring was worried with the choices of family members might make it impossible for their family to stay eternal. But he was given this counsel by a prophet. You worry about the wrong problem. You just live worthy in the celestial kingdom, and the family arrangements will be more wonderful than you can imagine. I want to thank my mother for making the decision in 1968 to travel to the Hamilton, New Zealand temple, as mentioned in her eulogy, but I'll give you a little insight on that. While she was 9 months pregnant with my brother Hemi, which is actually Hemi, she traveled to the New Zealand temple with my father and my brother Mo to get sealed in the temple. I can't imagine 9 months pregnant women and traveling from Tonga at that time in 1968 to the Hamilton, New Zealand temple. Hemi's name is actually, I had to write all this down. Hemi's name is actually a Maori name, or Marian. His name is actually Himi Niutireni, meaning James, New Zealand. His name Himi is after a devout, blind Maori temple worker who, with the assistance of a blind cane over the years, memorized his way up to the temple. And my sister Steele went to New Zealand one year, and she said, oh, it's like all the way at the bottom, you know, and you gotta walk all the way up to the New Zealand temple. And as we were discussing this, I thought how appropriate that my mother would name her son in remembrance of the sacrifices that my parents made to make our family eternal. My mother has done her part to bring eternity to us. And now it's our part to do our best to go to the celestial kingdom. We are sealed for all time and eternity, and I'm grateful for that. And I can't thank her enough. For example, I could never be half the woman that she is, the virtuous mother that she has always been. They say you don't know the worth or the value of something until it's gone. I testify to that is true. As I dressed my mom yesterday, I was so grateful for the plan of salvation. The ultimate sacrifice was our Savior Jesus Christ. Going to the New Zealand temple is in no comparison to our Savior Jesus Christ and the sacrifices that He made to make our Father's business happen for us as an eternal family. I am very, very grateful for this opportunity to share something about my mother, about my siblings, about my family. And I want to thank each and every one of you, for we are all eternal, we are all family. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out near and far. My family on live stream is really excited about being on TV for the first time. Maybe I'll never get it ever again, but I'm very excited. You know, check bucket list. But I want to really express my love and share my testimony that I know that Jesus is the Christ, and that through Him all things are possible, and that we have the opportunity to live with our Heavenly Father again. My mother found the way. I know that she's probably thinking, Hini, for the name. And I want to let each and every one of you know that my mother has paved so many ways for us to do the right things. And this, I say in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ.
Malo ben ke to fa fine to fa manau po wa ki manau rea ke si fa e malo mai kana fina ka ta la ko e a ko ben e tau ma be ka ta ame ben ha tau ko mana tu pe fa fi wa ki mo ka o muri ko ha una na ma wa ko ke pasifiki ko ta se mo ma si no ma si o pe mo ma fi ke lo ma to mo ma fi pe ma to ha u mau kakao e pe mato ta koko ko to mai o ma to ko pe ai ko e tala pe tala na pe ba ko historia ya o ko re mini ga to miri mane si fa na e na fa ho mai ha ta hiwa ko na ere ma me ni te ma fa na hiwa ai ki ha ta hi fa na la te ma hiwa o ko re mini ya I ask Tommy Lee and his kids, thanks for rehearsing and spending this time to sing for my mom. And that's what mom always wanted, is just the voice of these kids. Thank you. Malo kana fena mo kada ke ho ba no fo ke ko ma fase programa tau ko fase programa e fase au ke ina ko nga he ko tau ni to fo tu na ya ka he mu pai e nga lo tu ta ko ni si fo ke mai te na ko ma fa e mele na ala he mu ma fa lo ni fa ma ta ko nga he mu fa na ko ni di poti ka ta ri pe ke o si kage ga tanga ai fine ki patuki tari li body ki tanga dai ki ka fola Malo
Thank everybody for coming out to visit my mother here. Me and my mother had a really special relationship. And it's true that Miller said that Vava'u, the evidence is right here. And also I was a troublemaker, but one thing I learned from my mother was that unconditional love that she had for me, regardless of what I did. And one thing she taught me to is the church. She said always pray. And I said a prayer this morning. She said, please, that the church don't catch on fire when I walk in. And it worked. So I was going to call the fire department and tell them get ready, just in case. But, you know, I've been in church for 30 plus years, but one thing that was always with me is that she always told me, you know, always pray, and always, there's somebody watching, including myself, and it's true. I went through so many things in life, and prayer is always the thing that got me through. And one thing too, she always told me that you pay your tithing and make sure, and you're never having to get problems, in life, which is also true. And that's what I always did. Was always, even though I didn't go to church, I always paid tithing for me and my mother, and I always give it to my brother Mo. Sometimes I take it to the bishop myself. But and then I see missionaries, out there. I just stop by and give them some money, to thank you for the good work they're doing. Here's some lunch, and they say, "Oh, are you a member?" I said, "Yeah." And then they start trying to tell me, when was the last time you were to church? And I'm like, okay, I'll be right back. But I'm grateful for everybody, and like I said, that's one thing she taught me spiritually and stuff too. And then also, be caring for others, and that's one thing that I do and stuff. I work with a lot of the homeless population and stuff like that, and help feed them and look after them, and that's important. And another thing too is that, I was gonna have a friend of mine. I used to work in the music business in reggae, and I was gonna have him come and sing a few songs for my mother. But my brother was telling me that, hey, when I come here, you might kind of smell like, what they think on there. So I said, okay. So put some cologne. He goes, no, so that's not gonna work. So I have to listen to my brother and stuff, So I appreciate you guys coming out. And, my brother was not only a mother to me, but a mother to many of you guys. And I appreciate you guys taking your time to come out here. And my mother's probably going to be shocked when she hears this. I want to bear my testimony that it's true. The church is true. Even though I haven't been in church for that's always something that stays with me. And that's one thing we go through difficult things is definitely pray, because it does work. And I thank you so much, all my siblings, my niece and nephew, my relatives, and those that are here that are here. Thank you. And I love you all.
Malo, ko ko fasi ma ko lama ko ni ko. Rea ko ni ko futa kun beta ko lama ko. Kitio ke lama ko bisope. I want to thank each and one of you here for your time, and I go back to memories. I see Mary Paula and his sisters Ned. They're my primary teachers, and my mom always spoke of them because they're visiting teachers. I see very few of those, like George can recall. Very few are still here, and the reason I speak is that we need to share. Even though my brother was at church, but he lived the gospel of Jesus Christ outside. You can do that too, just by your examples, just being kind and sharing. That's how I learned about my mother. I share a story about my mother. The reason I went to Dome for missions because of George. Actually, it started with Fred. One day I saw Fred in a suit. I said, man, that's a nice suit, even though it's from Sears. But we got Kmart and Econ, that's an upgrade. So I said, man, I'll go on a mission. He goes, yeah, it's 2 years. So my mother goes, on a mission? I said, yeah, that's Fred and Takelo, rest in peace. But those two influenced me. So when George went on a mission, he goes, Toma is only 1 year. I said, Toma, I'm looking for Toma. So when I talk with my mom, my mother, she goes, yeah, you're gonna go to Toma, and I'm thinking, the only thing I know is from my mom, is she's from Foa, Apai and Rafa Apai, pretty much they're all related. And my dad was always about Vava'u. So those are the two places I want to go to. So I say, after high school, me, Kariko, Inoke Latu, Rami Fumavaka, and George and George, Toma, and Veni and Vita, Ioa, and Bila, Langi, they're all from here. They all left on that 1 year journey. And I was looking forward to that. And I told my mom, hey, if I don't go to take summer classes, for CSM, I'll go to Toma. She goes, yeah, if you want to go, it's up to you. My dad goes, hey, I already bought you the ticket. It's non-refundable. And you go with Mateo and Linanda. I said, oh, you know what? I always thought about that. But the thing about my mother, she never pressured us. She gave us an option. My dad is like, hey, I bought this. You gonna enjoy it or not? And that's how my father and my mother was really compromised. And that's how we learned. Anyways, when I went to Toma, I never thought, I was thinking I'm gonna go to Vava'u in Hawaii. But she always mentioned to me, yeah, when you go, I hope you go to Niofo. And I think you will. It never dawned on my mind. And for me, just to please a mother, mom, I look forward to Niofo. So I hop on a plane, go to Toma. After 4 months, I'm thinking Hawaii. Right? The first 4 months, I end up in Ewa. And guess what? Close where the newer settlements are. Niofo. And I said, hold on, man. I'm supposed to be going to Vava'u on a ferry, but I'm here, I'm in Ewa. I called my mom, and I ran into one of her long-lost uncles. His name was Sioana. He was a Faifikau for was a minister of Takelo for the Siulolovao, I believe, Hawaii. And just by looking at him, I saw the spitting image of Mu. And I said, that's got to be blood. Because he was walking back, I didn't know he was Takelo, so I just walked by there and said, hey, excuse me. And he looked at us, we're Mormons, I'm not used to it. Here in America, and they say, oh, go away. This one is like, hey, dog, go get him, sick him. So the dog comes up to me and look, yeah, leftovers, I are feeding the dog. So I looked at him, hey, well, I'm a grandson, Manuha Vailai, Takelo. And then he stopped sticking the dogs on us, me and my companion. And my companion goes, what did you say to him? Because all of a sudden he started screaming out of his lungs. And he started walking, and I said, oh, you know what, I must have said something wrong. But the spirit and my love of my mother, her yearning to know about her Niwa roots, pushed that. And he goes, hey, come here, come to my house. I don't let Mormon folks come in my house, because my next door neighbor is a Mormon bishop. But then I'll give you a privilege of letting you in my house because your grandfather and me are first cousins. And then that's where I realized the power of our names. And I want to express that to my cousins and even my siblings. Power of doing genealogy work. If you read about Jesus in the Gospels, the first thing he lays out is his roots. He lays out where he comes from and where he is. And that's the thing we have to learn as a family. Gospel is part of our family, learning about where you came from. And that's what I was like, this is the only time I spent a lot of time with Sioana Siulolovao. Now, she was asking about her namesake. And guess what? I told Sioana Siulolovao. Last 4 months of my mission, I was supposed to go to Vava'u. And by the way, President Shumway was our NTC or missionary class with Shumway's. We're the first ones. So the last 4 months, on the way, going to Vava'u, they put us all and when you go to Toma, I'm sure older folks, your generation, they know how they travel. It's always on a ferry called the Olowaha. So I get a report from the mission home. I'm going to go to Vava'u the next day. So they put us in one place where all the people in Vava'u go stay in one place. People missionaries going to buy one place. Just the night before, we're supposed to go to Vava'u. And this is what happened. I talked to my dad. My dad was happy. Yeah, I'm going to call my sister. I'm happy too, because it finally reached my dream. 7 o'clock that evening, I get the missionary, who were the assistants to the president, pulled up. 7 that evening, told me, hey, Alusa, hop in the van. President Shumway needs to see you. I get in there, in the office, and I go, oh yeah, I'm thinking about what is my assignment in Vava'u. All of a sudden he goes, Alusa, how's your mission? How's your mission doing? I said, President, it's been kind of terrible, because my first 4 missionaries, they're from America and New Zealand. They go, why? Because it's like the blind leading the blind. Here I am, I'm thinking, he's learning to teach me how to speak Tongan and the culture, and here he is, he expected me the same. Then we found out, I said, you know what? We have no common ground here. Luckily he's been there a couple months. But that was the thing, learning about the culture, we're learning about our roots. And anyways, that 7 that evening, we're talking with Shumway, and Shumway goes, I got an assignment for you. I said, yeah, Shumway, I'm ready to go tomorrow to Vava'u. I want to go look for some of my relatives and hopefully bring them to the gospel. He goes, Vava'u, where are you going to Vava'u? I said, yeah, that's where I'm supposed to go. Tongans, they have a lot of things called off-the-record information. Some guys go, hey, Alusa, you're going to go to Vava'u, that's what's going to happen. But I guess Shumway changed his mind just that night. He came up to me and goes, you're going to go to Sioana. I said, hey, hold on. What happened to this? He goes, the Spirit told me. I said, the Spirit told me something else. So we got 2 different spirits. And he goes, well, I'm the mission president. I said, I'll go. So I go to Sioana. Just in my last 4 months, I'm getting ready to come back, finish my mission. We go to the airport in Sioana. I don't know if you know what Sioana, you have to, it's like being a survivor. I think the first series Survivor started out there in Bahangi Kaitro. I'm going to go start a Survivor show. Because when you go to Sioana, they hand you a machete and a shovel and 20 pounds of flour and 20 pounds of sugar. They say, next 4 months. And that's what you live on. So when my last week over there, and I called my mother, I said, hey, I'm going to be there in about 2 weeks. You know, I'm looking forward to your fight with Kai, because over here, it's okay, but it's a lot of work. You know, you gotta climb, you know, you gotta go look for coconuts, pull the husk, you know. It takes like about 2 days just trying to get coconut milk. So he goes, oh yeah, I'm making all my stuff up. So we get to the airport, and the airport's like a quarter-mile away from where we're going. I mean, we're the main town in Sioana. The Takelo there, all of a sudden, they call our names. You know, there's only 10 people on the flight. So they called, there's 4 of us that went there, so it's 4 going back. So when the plane arrived, 4 came off the airplane, 4 elders. And when they called the names to board, there was only 3, except my name. So I went over to the representative and said, hey buddy, you know, you gotta be nice and don't take out like $1 or $2. Hey buddy, what's going on? And he goes, oh yeah, thank you. He goes, my name's supposed to be on that flight. He goes, sorry, your name's on the flight. It's not, you know. I said, we got a flight, that's the thing. Doma only has a certain amount of time they land to take off. So he goes, sorry, yeah, you're gonna have to wait for the next one. And going to Niua, the plane only goes there if there's only 10 people. If there's only 9, it's gonna wait until they get the 10th person. So the plane takes off, I started crying. You know, I never cried so much. Because I'm thinking, it's gonna be either 3 weeks or a month. So I go back to town, which is about a quarter mile back. But remember back then in Niua, they don't have telephones, so you just pick up your phone, call, you know, travel quest, you know, book me on the next flight. You gotta go back for a quarter mile. So I get over there and I call Doma. And they go, you're not on the flight? Because they're thinking, you're talking from the airplane? I said, no, I'm talking from the phone booth over here, the public phone booth. I said, you're supposed to be on that flight? I said, no. So finally, the next day, show me, I'm stuck over here. I already told you, see, the Spirit told me I was supposed to go to Vava'u, and this is what happened. But just through my yearning of my mother, 2-3 days later, I was told by Shanwei to hop on a ship by myself. From there, the ship from there to Vava'u, to catch an airplane, a flight from Vava'u to Doma. I hop on a ferry trip from Sioana, and it has a stopover in Sioulofao. I stop over there, and lo and behold, all of a sudden I see an airplane flying over. And the captain comes over and summons me, hey, your name is Alusa? Are you a Mormon missionary? Because I was by myself on there. I said, yeah. That's your airplane right there coming around. And I said, okay. And the Sioulofao is like you park here, their ship, and out there in the street, just maybe about a half a block up, is where they have those little small boats. You get on there, and then you make way there. And when you make your way there, you gotta wait for the tide to push you up, and you jump off onto the wharf. You have like maybe 5 to 10 seconds split. And luckily I was 100 pounds less, you know, I had no problem. So we get over there, it's like, I mean, this is a triathlon. You know, you jump, so I had to jump on the side just to swim, because people, you know, it was like like I said, Survivor. It goes up, and you have time to jump off. But anyways, that's what my mom told me. When my mom heard I was there, she was really happy. I said, Mom, I'm sad, I'm by myself. So by the time I got off and head to the airport, the plane took off again. So I had to wait almost a month for the next one. But when I came back, I mean, during that time, that's when I built my testimony, really. Because over there, even though it's a beautiful Lake Tahoe type, but you have to earn every single meal when you're there. You know, going to get your water, you have to walk a quarter mile up and down just to get your water in a 5-gallon bucket. That's what we're happy. We have these every time I look at these, I kiss them and say, oh man. Because when you go down there, you enjoy every little drop. And that's what I think I learned when my mom was telling me, that Sioulofao is going to build me into that person. But then even not only that, I love that island just because it carries my namesake. And any new I run into, I tell them, Sioana, Siulolovao, Takelo, and they always praise that. And I want to share with you my testimony, and not only that, for our love for Jesus Christ, and that we should also love and forgive one another. I think that's one thing that my mother always had, forgiving and learning to forgive. It also helped us as siblings, even though sometimes it's hard.
But that's how life goes. I want to share my love with you. And thank you, each and every one of you, for spending your time, money, to come out here to celebrate my mother's return to the kingdom of heaven. I thank all my cousins here, my uncles, my many relatives, my family, actually, for coming and sharing and celebrating my mother's legacy. Sorry my father couldn't be here. He's on a little R&R at Stanford Hospital, but he shares his love with you, for each and one of you, for coming to celebrate my mother's celebration. And I hope God bless each and one of you until hopefully this is a good year. And I'd also like to thank the Bishop Maturiki, and his ward for allowing us to use this building. And also thank Bishop Alameda for allowing us to continue the service of my mother. And especially a big thank you to Riami and his crew for Dongyaki live stream. Just make sure you book it through me, so that way I give you a discount. So love you all. I hope you return to your places, and also enjoy the rest of the year. And we'll ask Asta Ferretti, Asta Lani, can you come over and close our family service? Get ready for our bishop, sir. Thank you again, Ofa.
Mauta mai mawhawhia e langi. Hae whonga te mātolo ho whanau. Mau ehe marumaru e whareni mau whakaapa. Mau kia taha mauta koua. Mau uwhiwhine. Marama. Kone whalawa kia wa whiana. Ma whamaro ka whio hao o magati mātoro ai mōrerei. Mokora ka whio ke hata whaki mātoro ka whanau. Ka mai whangata koua. Ka mai ngai whae, ngai whanui ko tua peu ngā lama mai ki upongi. O waia te mātoro lawa ke mamau e bea ai whani meri no e ana i mau nofu ka whami taka. Kia i mātoro ki mamu. Mau tāma fua tingi nā toa hau ka kautaki e uotini. Tapaki ange mawai. Kautaki ka mai ka shopo na otokoni. Ki ngai whatongi au nā fua ke ta taki ka ngano tu e whituuni ka mai mamani. Tapaki ange mau parau whita. Ka poto make, ilo make, ki ngai whatongi au nā fua te taki ka ngano tu e mamani. Foto mawa pe mawa e moona hone li. Na mea kata ia sira maroto flo wa fio ma kone me ta Pulgas fly 7.